New season, new arc, new terrible stories. Let's go. Season 22, Episode 1, A Rogue's Welcome. See if you can figure out why I named this episode that as I read through this summary. So, Jake and the others have officially been made real dimensional scouts by the Wonder Girls because I guess they did a real good job with the whole Christina deal or something, even though they definitely didn't. So the team immediately fricks off to their first new dimension they want to explore. When they get there, they're approached by a cat-like person who tells them that he is a messenger from the king of a cat-like race called the Kia-like people. Jake and the team meet the Kia-like king, and he tells them that they need a group of heroes to retrieve their 8 lost jewel hearts so they can open the 1,000-year door... protect themselves from their enemies, the Daganites, who are basically dogs. Wow, cats versus dogs. Very original, me. Wow. The first jewel heart happens to be in a Daganite encampment close by, so the team decides to go for that one first. The Daganites fight them for the heart, but the team manages to escape with it. There we go. Episode over. This is what this arc is all about. We're here to find the not Chaos Emerald / not Crystal Stars / Jewel Hearts so we can save the cat people. Yippee! Episode 2. Of Mice That Are Men. In their search for the Jewel Hearts, the team ends up in a dimension filled completely with mouse people. In case you forgot, Jake has a crippling irrational fear of mice, which renders him completely useless for the rest of the episode, so Rose and Mandy have to do everything. Isn't Jake such a great character? Rose and Mandy end up finding the next jewel heart in the Mouse People's Museum, so they casually decide to just steal it. After doing that and angering the Mouse People, Rose and Mandy escape on Rose's motorcycle into the jungle. But as you may or may not know, driving a motorcycle through a jungle is freaking hard. So they end up hitting a tree, and Rose gets knocked unconscious, leaving Mandy to fight the hordes of Mouse People and escape with Rose and the jewel heart in tow. And all that time, Jake was sitting at home, curled up in a ball, crying. Yay! Episode 3, Justice is Blind, aka Entry 1 in the Perillus Does Something Idiotic in the Name of Quote-Unquote Justice series. Perillus ambushes Jake and arrests him because he finally caught on to how Nias escaped jail back in Season 19 and pins the blame on Jake. Jake then finds himself in reverse jail, and then Jake escapes from reverse jail. Perillus pursues him, but Jake manages to clear everything up after a run-in with Nias. Nias runs away after everything is resolved, though, so Perillus doesn't get to arrest anybody. Perillus is such a moron. Episode 4, Written in the Snow. Remember the Wonder Girls series? The team pinpoints the next Jewel Heart's location to the island of Lilatia in Ilia. Lilatia in ancient times was a powerful civilization, but they fell when their island was frozen over for thousands of years. In recent days, though, the snow has melted and Lilatia has become a popular tourist destination. When Jake finally locates the next Jewel Heart, he receives a vision of ancient Lilatia, which was kept balanced by the 8 Jewel Hearts. When the hearts absorbed malicious energy, though, they summoned forth a snow monster that destroyed the Lilatian civilization. It was only due to a young girl who could control the pure power of the Jewel Hearts that the monster could be contained before it could spread its snowy wrath across all of Ilia. She sealed herself and the monster away with the power of the hearts. Hi, not chaos. So, explanation time, because this is super cryptic and is never explained, but this actually correlates directly back to the Wonder Girl series, because yes, the Jewel Hearts were part of the Wonder Girl series too. The girl in the vision is actually one of the Wonder Girls, Lilac. One of the earliest story arcs in the Wonder Girl series involved the Wonder Girls collecting the Jewel Hearts to restore Lilatia and defeating the snow monster with the help of one of the ancient Lilatians named Lilac. After that, Lilac, now in the present, decides to become a Wonder Girl. The Jewel Hearts are also explained in the Wonder Girl series to be the guardians of Lilatia that appointed specifically chosen heroes, essentially the first Wonder Girls whose bloodlines continued on into the present-day Wonder Girls, to protect Lilatia. This is all extremely important to the Wonder Girl series, but in lightning speed, this has pretty much no reason to exist, and the Jewel Hearts really don't need to be here. Wow, yay, lightning speed! Episode 4, Living Nightmare. New challenger approaching. So remember how I said that besides one single episode, none of the rest of Lightning Speed after Season 19 was publicized? That was kind of a half-lie. There were 6 different stories that came out in the span of late 2013 all the way to mid-2015. Each one was meant to detail the backstories of each of the 7 Jakes. Antius's was Wrath, Nias's was Murderer, which also gave details on the whole Nias knew Nyla thing, even though it was a super short affair. Perillus' was Parallel, detailing the stuff he was doing in the Season 3 finale, like arresting Nias for the first time and telling Insert Wonder Girl here about reverses after Nyla died, and 3 others for characters we haven't seen yet. Today's episode actually corresponds to the story Nightmare, which is pretty much just another point of view on this story right here from our brand new character, Nightmare. So Jake wakes up in a strange room he's never been in before, in a super abrupt beginning that just kind of throws you in without warning or explanation as to why we're even here. In this room, Jake meets another new lookalike of himself who says he's another of Jake's evil doubles without really explaining what that means. His name is Nightmare, and the first thing he does is offer Jake a cup of hot chocolate, but Jake is super suspicious and won't drink it. The two banter for a while before Jake walks off to investigate the place. He then hears something else going on in the room he just left, so he walks back in to find Nias with Nightmare about to drink the hot chocolate. Jake knocks the cup out of Nias' hands just in time, and Nightmare yells at Jake before teleporting away again and coming back with Antius, but Antius isn't having any of this crap. Nightmare then reveals that there's some kind of ceremony about to happen, but Jake, Antius, and Nias aren't invited. After that, the three of them find themselves trapped in the room together with the walls closing in on them. Already, the pacing in the story is awful, and Nightmare has no reason to be doing anything he's doing, so check off those 2 boxes right now. After that, they manage to escape and they split up to find Nightmare. Jake ends up stumbling upon a room where he finds a girl version of himself named Jackie, who explains that Nightmare kidnapped her and is going to force her to marry him for, no reason at all. Wow, this is stupid. What is even going on anymore? With that, Jake decides to pose as Jackie to give her an opportunity to escape. Nightmare's henchmen come back way too fast, though, and Jake is forced to pose as Jackie for the wedding, where he is then wed to Nightmare. Yes, this happens. Suddenly, though, 2 more people burst into the wedding hall, these being Rose and Mandy's gender-bend alternatives named Ross and Manny. They then try to get back who they think is Jackie, but Nightmare kisses her first, and Jake is quickly exposed as not being Jackie. Nightmare is disgusted and immediately attacks Jake, but Jake fries him to a crisp, essentially killing him. Yes, Nightmare is already dead. Yippee! Then Jake goes home, and wow, this was a really dumb story, I hate it. There wasn't even a jewel heart there. Episode 6, Arrow to the Face. I love these stupid joke titles. Anyway, Jake gets a call from his alien mother that says that Palentia is going to war and that she wants Jake to come back so he can be there for the war. She called up Jade too, but Jade was like, "You guys have fun with that, I'm not coming, see ya," so she won't be here. So Jake and the team go to Palentia and go to war with the opposing alien forces, but the other aliens are really strong and they have a good army or something, and Jake gets shot in the face and loses his eye. Ayo! Anyway, Jake and the others eventually find a way to take down the other aliens and save Palentia and whatnot, and they go home and Trey makes Jake a robot eye. Congratulations, Jake, you now have a robot eye. Also again, no jewel heart. This is also the end of Season 22. The heck are we even freaking doing in this arc anymore? Season 23, Episode 1, A Poor Boy's Lament. Here it is, the one episode after Season 19 that was actually made public. So the team is in another dimension, once again searching for the jewel hearts, finally. They're in a huge city and they're pretty much just wandering around, not sure where to even be looking. Eventually, though, they find the jewel heart in the window of a jewelry store. They then try to convince the owner to give it to them, but the owner wants $2 million for it, so they just decide to steal it instead. And they immediately get caught while trying to steal it. Ladies and gentlemen, superheroes. They escape and make it across town, where they have to stop to get their bearings, and for some reason they just decide to sleep where they are. Okay, whatever. You guys do you, I suppose. Don't even worry about the police trying to find you or anything. When they wake up, they're approached by a red-haired boy with weird cat ears that means business and intends to take the jewel heart. Ladies and gentlemen, new challenger approaches. Catboy fights the team, then reveals that he has telekinetic powers. Jake calls him a cat. Catboy screams that he's not a cat. Running joke begins. Then Catboy chucks Jake into the air with telekinesis before Jake calls his bluff and says Catboy won't kill him. Catboy stops Jake's fall before he can hit the ground, then makes off with the jewel heart. The team goes to Trey to have him track down Catboy, and they go to the dimension Catboy escaped to, which is filled with people that have the same ears and tail as Catboy. They ask one of the residents about Catboy and are told that Catboy's family is the most financially devastated family in the area. The team soon ends up at Catboy's house. Rose reads the note on the door that says the family has an outstanding debt that, if isn't paid, will make them send Catboy to the mines or something like that, and then they break into Catboy's bedroom and find the jewel heart. Before they can leave, though, Catboy catches them in his room and freaks out. Okay, I need to stop calling him Catboy now. He literally reveals his name within the first 5 seconds after he appears. His name is Wreath, son of Rig and Spa, which he'll eventually shorten to Wreath Spawson, so he's a normal person name. Welcome, Wreath. So Wreath starts arguing with the team, saying that he needs the jewel heart to help pay off his family's debt and that he needs to find all of them before the full moon. Jake reveals that his team already have 4 other jewel hearts, so Wreath threatens violence, but Jake calls his bluff again because, wow, isn't Jake cool? He has no fear in the face of overly violent threats like, I'll tear you limb from limb. Anyway, Wreath attacks Jake and starts beating him up, and Jake's like, do it, Fricker, rip my arm off, you won't, sissy. And Wreath's like, yes, I will. And he tries to force himself to do it before he's like, okay, no, I won't. And Jake's like, I knew it. So Jake punches Wreath across the room before literally saying the dumbest line ever. If there's anything I hate more than an underhanded thief, it's a coward. I'm freaking... So Wreath breaks down sobbing and begs for them not to take the jewel heart, but Jake says no, and Wreath throws a tantrum, revealing that he was hired by the Kielite King to find the jewel hearts for a hefty reward. Jake's ears perk up at this, and he gets a plan in his tiny brain. Then he starts provoking Wreath again. Jake tells Wreath that he can take him to where the rest of the jewel hearts are, but Wreath doesn't trust him and starts yelling at him again. So Jake is like, you really want to threaten me? And I need to stop. Jake eventually grabs Wreath and takes him back to the Lightning Speed team's apartment where the rest of the jewel hearts are. Wreath asks if he can take them, but Jake says no, saying that if Wreath wants them, he has to fight Jake for them in a battle to the death. Jake, please stop. So they head out to the parking lot and start fighting, and Jake is big time provoking Wreath and just generally being a show-offy, condescending prick. Finally, Jake beats Wreath to the ground and helps Wreath up and starts to walk away. Wreath says the fight's not over yet because neither of them are dead, so Jake's like, well, I guess it's a draw then. And the girls are like, oh. Apparently, it was Jake's plan the entire time to use this mess to recruit Wreath to the team, even though, seriously? Wreath then says yes, and Wreath is on the team now. The story literally ends with, sappy sitcom laugh, the end. What in the world was I even thinking? Anyway, Wreath is a new 4th member of the Lightning Speed team, and he's going to be with us for the remainder of the series, so get used to him. Stupid Jake saying sorry if I came off as a jerk. My good gosh, Jake, were you actually terrible in this episode, and you should feel ashamed of yourself. What the actual frick? Episode 2, Nerd Battle. These freaking joke titles. So the team ends up in a new dimension where they get ambushed and captured by a mad scientist named Demetrius. My good gosh, and me, who does weird sciencey nonsense to the team, like turning Mandy's gravity upside down, and I don't remember what he did to Rose and Wreath. Haha, oops. He also straps a bomb to Jake. For science. So the team has to overcome this nonsense, get the jewel heart from the scientist, and save the day or something. A lot of what happens is escaped from my memory, but I think somewhere in there, Mandy and Jake, bomb and all, end up in a school bus that gets flipped over on the freeway, and I can't for the life of me remember how that turns out. I wish I did. Anyway, they get the jewel heart through I can't remember and go home. Episode 3. So, I have my sarcastic summaries. Then I also have a document that lists out all the episodes I have by a title or a vague 1 or 2 word premise. And while my sarcastic summaries list 6 episodes for season 23, my document lists 7 episodes for this season, and the missing one is episode 3, and it's a complete mystery to me what it even is. It's listed as Wreath Amnesia, and I literally know nothing about it. I have no idea. I don't even know how I missed it in my sarcastic summaries, but it exists, and I have no idea what it is. Something about Wreath getting amnesia? I have no freaking clue. Episode 4, In Lieu of a Dance. You thought we were done with high school? Ha! That's hilarious! Sadie Hawkins dance time. Rose asks Jake. Jake is forced to go with her, but when they're at the dance, they get kidnapped by the dumb gang, who's angry that Jake made Ice Bolt disappear. Also, the dumb gang has a jewel heart for literally no reason. So Jake and Rose defeat the dumb gang. Yay! Oh my good gracious, why am I this stupid? Episode 5, just south of Tierra del Fuego. The next jewel heart is in Antarctica. Remember? Antarctica? Where the murder Eskimos live? With that, Jake takes Wreath to Antarctica alone under the guise of a field trip or something. No, I don't know. You really think I know why? They end up meeting Gabe, Leah, Nano, and Rita, because the 4 of them set up base in Antarctica after breaking up with the Justice Team for some reason. Wowee, look how much I remember about this one! They also have the next jewel heart because they stole it from the murder Eskimos. That's right, we're not seeing any of them today. Before Jake and Wreath can leave, though, the group gets snowed into a cave and have to survive until they can find a way out of the cave. Jake and Wreath argue for a good while about nothing before they eventually get out of the cave because teamwork, and Gabe is a fireman, and Jake and Wreath go home. Episode 6, Fear Factor. Are we allowed to have 3 new Challenger Approaches segments in one arc? This is ridiculous. So in this episode, the team finds out that Nias has the final jewel heart. They go take it from him, only to get knocked out in an abandoned warehouse. Then Jake wakes up to a trippy reality illusion in which all his friends die in horrific accidents. He gets out of the illusion through some means, I don't really remember what, and he finds himself thrust into a room with a crap ton of actual real Mandy robots ready to kill him. He manages to escape them, but on his way to find his team, he encounters a stray Mandiborg in the hallway. He gets ready to fight it, but Nias tears down the hall and hides behind the Mandiborg for protection from what he was running from. Just then, the Mandiborg gets annihilated by the guy that rounds the corner. New challenger approaches. The one that rounds the corner is a strange version of Nias with red hair and clothing that calls himself the Red King. This Red King is also holding the final jewel heart. Boys and girls, meet the 6th of the 7 Jakes. This is Red, also known as the reason why my username is Red Queen Miku. Yes, I know, very special. The part in this story is actually chronicled from Red's point of view in Red's backstory piece, Red, and because this backstory is not explained literally anywhere else, here we go. Red is a demon. Yippee, another demon! He's from the sect of Lust, and he got kicked out of Heck because he was stupid and also a cloud. Yes, he actually was a literal cloud. No, don't ask me how that works. He wandered the world for a bit before ending up in a mountain town where he watched old men play chess for like months, and he got obsessed with chess or something. He eventually left the mountain town and ended up in Nias' lab, where Nias was making a clone of himself. So Red possessed the clone to use as his body, and he took the jewel heart Nias was using to power the lab, then tried to kill Nias, because why not? But that's not all! Another part of this story lies hidden in the depths of my entries to an original character tournament called Origins OCT, and this time it's Nias' point of view. In the third round, where Nias has to deal with reality illusions similar to the ones he inflicts on Jake in this episode, he reflects on the events of this episode, revealing that it was Dahlia's butler that taught him to science, which he could do because of his experience with Dahlia's robotics. Did I forget to mention that Dahlia's butler followed her back to the Villains League at some point? Anyway, Nias is a science Nias because of that. That's never explained within the original version of this episode. It's just kind of tacked on in that instance in Origins. Also, science Nias. If you thought he was new, he's not. So to finally finish up, Red starts talking about how Jake and Nias are like opposing kings on a chessboard, equating them to a black king and a white king, before Jake runs up to him, takes the jewel heart, and straight up murders him. Wonderful. That's another one dead. Amazing. Jake, can you please? After that, Red turns into a red glass crown, and everyone goes home except in the Red story, it's revealed that Red is still alive, but his demon powers are trapped in the crown, so he can't really do much of anything. And that's the end of the episode. It's over. Nothing else. What a disjointed abomination of an episode. Episode 7, Power Enriched by the Heart. I have too much fun with these joke titles. Now that the team has all of the jewel hearts, they take them back to the Kielite king so he can use them to save his kingdom. Surprise! The king was using them so he could use the jewel hearts to gain ultimate power. What a shocker. The team tries to stop the king, but the king uses the power of the hearts to straight up mutilate Jake and then declares his victory. Then the jewel hearts turn on him, heal Jake, and let him destroy the evil king and save the day. Wow, what a stupid ending to this arc. Next time is season 24. See ya.